Okay, well, thank you, and good afternoon. We're having the Auburn Housing Authority meeting, September 3rd, 2019. Could we please stand for the pledge?
What was that?
It's my cane.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public comment, seeing none. Nobody? Okay, discussion and vote to accept the minutes of June 25th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Discussion and vote to accept the warrants for June 2019.
So make a motion.
Second.
So
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? None. Discussion and vote to accept the warrants for August 2019.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Excuse me, did we skip
We
5
did.
on
We skipped
purpose?
July, or
Okay.
June, one of them.
We skipped July.
Good.
July? Okay. Discussion and vote to accept the warrants for July 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for letting me know about missing that one. Discussion and vote to accept change orders number 1 in the amount of $8,600 to Above Board Contracting for trim boards replacements. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Discussion and vote to accept the $4,300 quote from Anchor Installation for gutter replacement at Pheasant Court. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Discussion and vote to accept the wage match system.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Laurie, do you want to talk about that at all?
Well, it's in the packet. What it is requesting permission from the residents to use their social security number to verify their wage information in the state system. We have it in the federal system too, but this is specifically for the state. And the only people that are allowed access to it is myself, Maureen, and Betty. That's it,
That's good.
okay?
Good.
But they wanted the board to vote that you do know that we have this wage match system and that there's specific individuals that have access to the information, and that's it.
Good.
So, that's what that's about.
So long as it's so limited.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
We voted, we just need to, all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Okay, this one you have to sign.
I have to sign.
Yep. I did and you did. Executive director and then board approval. That we are using the wage match system, and this is the reason why we are, to verify like social security information that gets reported, pension information. It's a tool we can use to prevent fraud,
That's good.
Good.
okay?
We will be, I think we should take some kind of vote on this. I would like to get a motion to hold Articles 10 through 20 until next month. No, 21. 10 to 21, hold until next month.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done. Discussion and vote to accept the risk control policy.
That's part of, that's 21.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're on 22.
22, Executive Director's contract. Do we have a motion?
Yes.
Do you want to approve it again? The motion is to approval?
Is the
Okay.
amount the same, or is it changed?
Everything's, no, everything stayed the same because,
Okay.
remember, I can't get a raise?
Right.
They haven't freed
That's
it
why
up.
I'm
So
asking you.
everything stayed the same. It's just the date is gonna be extended to as of today. And then we'll go 5 years from today, if I'm still
Right.
alive.
Right.
But 5 years from today,
Okay.
okay? So that's what you're actually voting on.
Right.
Okay, so do I have a motion to accept it?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Executive Director's Report.
Okay, as of right now, we have no vacancies in the federal section of Packagug. We have no vacancies at Pheasant Court. We have one at Pine Brook Court, and there's a resident that's gonna transfer from Pheasant Court over to Pine Brook Court and take that apartment. He needs it for the unit size. And then, as far as Stoneville is concerned, we have no vacancies because offers are out on the two that we had. We just need to finish them up and they'll be rented. Then Stoneville will be fully rented. The state side of Packagug, as of right now, we have 2 apartments, one first floor, one second floor, and they're both going to veterans. Okay? And then we have already identified who the people are, so it's just a matter of getting the units tied up, and then they'll be rented. And then we shouldn't have any vacancies that I know of as of right now. Do you know what I mean?
Good. Yeah?
So by the next meeting, we should be, unless something else happens, we had a lot of movement between the floors, the second floor people going to the first floor. There's been a lot of that. So they've ended up having to do 2 apartments over instead of 1. But we had a lot of residents put in requests, doctor's notes, whatever, that they needed these units. So we cleaned up most of them.
That's
We
good.
still have a couple that second floor needs to go to the first floor, but we don't have the first floors available
Open.
in order to accommodate these people. So
Alright.
as soon as we do, we'll get that part done.
I would just like to say that, job well done, both for you and the staff, because that's a lot of work to get done, and a lot of transfers.
And it's a lot
the
for
fact that
maintenance to
it's
do.
full, and the
Yeah.
fact that you're
Yeah.
keeping the apartments full in a timely manner.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
That's a
Keeping them
big
full.
thing.
Now, the other thing,
Timely manner.
we got audited, and they did a report, and we only had one finding, and that was on procurement. All these other pages, no exception found, no exception found, no exception found. And the problem we had with procurement is we use Mark's Electric for our electrical, but he also does our fire protection.
Right.
So we have him doing multiple things for us. So his dollar amount was over 10,000, but it's because he had multiple things. Bergeron Plumbing was the same thing. And I separated out the materials versus the labor, but he was still high, so we're using another plumber in conjunction with him. Because we don't want somebody coming here in the middle of the night that's not familiar with our residents or our systems.
That's right.
So that was the other thing, but we just have to, on things that I can use somebody else, I need to start using somebody else. So we are using another guy that is familiar with Jim Bergeron, so they do tend to work together.
Right.
So that will fix that. And the other thing is North Oxford Mills. They buy our carpet at the auction in rolls.
Right.
for a reduced price. So he saves us money by buying the rolls. He stores the rolls out in North Oxford at the mill. And when it comes time to redo an apartment, they come out and measure and then just cut it off our roll that we've already paid for. So then we're just paying for the labor and then any other flooring. So he tends to be high, but we're gonna try to compare his hourly rate for the installation, because that's what they're concerned about, the installation, not the materials. So we'll have to compare his installation rate with a couple other installers, and then that should clean this up. And then hopefully we'll have no exceptions next time.
But the fact that they're storing all that carpeting for us
Yeah.
Is a big deal.
is a,
Yeah.
it is a big deal.
Because we'd have to have another one of those freight container things.
Right.
You know what I
Not
mean?
only that, you don't want any water to get in.
And then you have to lug it. But this was an important one, because this is the money.
Right.
This was the money audit, watching the accounts receivable, the
Right.
accounts payable, the tenant rent collection, the tenant rent recertification, the banking process. They asked about all that stuff. And then the inventory was in this, and another thing I can't even think. But anything involving the financial part of the housing authority was in this audit. And for that to be the only finding, Gary, the accountant, was really happy,
That's
Yes.
really good.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
So
all are.
this was a big thing,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, some of the stuff, you do the best you can, but I mean,
Plus, they keep changing the
they keep
rules.
changing what they're looking for, which is good, because you want, if you're doing something wrong, you need to know.
Right.
Yes, we want to do it right.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing, so that's why I think this is a good thing. And then they can explain it to you how they want it. Like before, they didn't have any consistency. Now they know exactly what they want, and they let all these accountants and auditors know what they're looking for. But this way, I'm not going to jail. And so I think this is a good thing.
Well, we do too, we don't want
But you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
It's like, we're not missing any money.
Right.
Every penny coming in is accounted for.
Yeah.
How great is that?
That's really good,
You know?
really good.
That's the way it should be, and you're doing it right.
Absolutely.
Right, so for the financial health of the authority, this is a good thing. So we'll have another one next year, but as of right now, we're good to go.
That's great.
Good.
So it's one less thing they can come after us for.
Congratulations.
Then, Wayne had gotten a complaint about the pets and parking. So as far as the pet thing goes, we invested in these lovely pet waste poop stations, so that the residents know clearly by where these were placed, where they're supposed to take their pet to do their business. Not in front of somebody's apartment, not in the middle of the sidewalk where other people try to walk, not out in the fields where the guys have to cut the grass. They need to go to these pet stations, the bags are provided, and there's a place to drop the bags. And the maintenance guys go along and empty the bags.
That's good.
Awesome.
Isn't that lovely, Alice?
Yes,
That is
that's good.
Yeah.
You know, and
Really
it's,
is.
and it's by a light, so if they're taking their dog out at night, they can clearly see where they're supposed to go, because the lamp post is right there. And in the winter, the guys will shovel around it and put the sand, so nobody will fall.
That's good.
So that should solve our,
And that's a Packagug too.
the Packagug in Stoneville.
How many stations do you have?
There's 3 at Packagug, there's 1 here right now, they have 2 more to put up here. So there'll be 3 and 3.
Good.
Well, as long as they walk around with a bag, they can walk around where they want to go, but not under people's house, windows.
Right, not under people's
But
windows.
they can walk around the area, as long as they
Right,
pick it
and they
up.
need to pick it up. And the pet
Right.
policy says the first time they're found not picking it up, it's a $25 fee.
Yeah.
And after that, the
That's
dog
good.
needs to be removed. Because
Well,
it's,
you gonna take it out on the dog?
well, I can't help it. This is,
We can't save the dog and remove the
well,
people?
we'll find a way. We'll find a way to save the dog.
That would be a better thing to be
See?
able to do.
That's 2 of us, we
See,
need
Alex?
one more. One more, Alice, and we got the vote.
So that's the deal with the pets. The parking was an issue up at Packagug in the back again, because there was a grate, one of the, what do they call those,
Great. She's
those,
talking
the
about
waste,
manhole.
the manhole thing. The grate was like this,
Oh, wow.
so nobody could really park on that safely because they didn't know if their tire would end up falling through
No,
the
you
grate.
have to open it
It's
up.
not
and-
safe walking either.
Right, but the problem was it was like in a parking space. So we had to pay like $3,600 to get the whole thing rebuilt.
Rebuilt, yep.
You know, we tore the whole thing out. It was Midstate that did the work because they do our catch basin cleaning.
Did they say why?
They didn't know why. And it's not the only one we've had
They didn't know
done.
why?
We've had other ones, and I guess the bricks collapsed somehow.
Yeah, that would,
They disintegrated.
okay.
So-
Put some salt and sand.
Yeah, it disintegrated. I was like looking in the hole, and like the whole thing was like rotted out. So you could see why it couldn't
It
hold it.
collapsed, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I know, I used to build those things
So,
with barrel blocks.
so
Now
it's
they
a
get
whole big deal.
Big giant castings, they just drop in.
But that was a space we couldn't use because of the way
Right.
that
No,
was.
you couldn't.
So we ended up getting that fixed.
Good.
And so hopefully we'll get the parking situation squared away again. It seems to go in cycles. We're not putting any more parking spaces in there.
No.
We are not spending any more money on that. No. Because then somebody else has to give up their car and then all of a sudden we have extra spaces.
Now, how are we doing with people that have cars up there that shouldn't be there? Or left? Without re-registering them or anything like that?
I don't know that there's,
Abandoned cars?
I don't know
More or
that,
less.
I don't know that there's any that are abandoned. Are you hearing that there
Okay.
are?
No, I'm just asking.
I don't think there's any that are abandoned. There's some that are guests that have overstayed the policy,
Mhm.
and we are working with the residents to,
Remove them.
yes. And then there's some up there that are gonna be towed. They've been given notice, they haven't removed the vehicle, and that's all I'm required to do is give notice.
Yep.
Then I call Boulevard, and oh, by the way, they're gone. And it's on the owner of the vehicle to pay for the,
Storage.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
that's what
So-
the sign says.
Not only
That's what
that,
the sign says.
Yeah,
And if people are staying longer than they're supposed to stay, you know
That
that
they
they're there
shouldn't be
because
there.
if their car's there, they shouldn't be there.
That's right. And you know what, we have, some residents are actually keeping track of when people are staying, like the dates, and that's what we need to go to court.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? It's 14 days for federal, and it's 21 days for state.
Jesus.
That's it, in the course of a year. And so we have people that are in violation of that, so the only thing we can do is document it, you know, that we've gone out, you know, told them, oh, by the way, and we've got some people that are in denial, oh, no, this person isn't staying, well, guess what? You
You've
know,
got proof.
yeah. And the cameras,
Yeah, I
we're
was
we're
gonna
still
ask.
waiting for the quotes on the cameras, but that's in the process. And there's a grant, maybe on the federal side, that we can apply for security issues. Did you go to the police when you had your problem with the knocking or the doorbell thing?
No, I went because that homemaker stole some money from me.
Even better. Okay, but you never contacted them about the knocking on the door?
No,
Because we need some instances
okay.
between 18 and 19 where we can show that we need an emergency security grant.
Yeah,
So we'll have to come up with some instances. But when
well, I'm sure I'll get some more. I'll
when
just
that
knock down
car-
the dates.
got damaged in the front, I think the police were contacted about that one. So Terry, our helper, consultant lady, she saw the grant and she says, well, if we can come up with some instances, we'll apply for it. I mean, it
Right.
doesn't hurt to apply.
No.
No?
And if we've never applied for these things before, so if we get it, woo-hoo, you know, good for us.
Right.
But I gotta come up with some issues. So we'll have, I'll
Well, they're
have
all documented, so that shouldn't
Yeah.
be a problem.
I just
It's
have to-
having the time to do it.
to go back and look.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I stop and think about it, I can come up with some, but, so we'll have a couple instances.
Yeah, maybe I did.
I think you did.
Yeah, I think I
too,
did
Joyce, 'cause
because
I
there
remember
was
you
snow on the
talking about
ground
it.
and I could see the footprints running from the backside, I call it. And it went over and down the hill.
I think you did.
Yeah, I did.
I think you
I
did.
did.
And I hope you did now, because we're gonna use that
Yeah.
to apply for the grant. I mean, we haven't had a lot, but I mean, I don't think they say how
shouldn't
many
be
you have
any.
to have, and
There
there shouldn't be any. And we're gonna get cameras
Yeah, right.
anyway, but if we can
Yeah.
help,
We're gonna get those cameras up.
if we can get either help with the camera cost, or maybe we could do the locks, work on getting new locks for the doors. I mean, all our doors are shot,
Yeah.
the doors are an issue. They don't close properly, you know what I mean? Some of
So
them are
that might be the next thing on our list.
some of them are warped.
Okay.
So maybe once we get that squared away, if we get a grant that would cover the cost of the locks, that'd be huge,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
you know? So, I mean, other than that, I think we're doing all right, you know? I mean, I don't think we're ever gonna make everybody happy,
No, you're not.
but we do try. And
Yeah.
I don't think,
I have one question to ask, and that's on it was still on the finances, correct?
yeah,
Okay. Is which I always ask at every meeting practically, what is our,
in reserve.
in reserve?
I don't know, I'll have to ask them.
I've asked for that 2 or 3 times now.
Where's the
I wish
treasurer's
that would be
report?
in- I have it
Do you
here.
have it?
What's that?
I was
The
hoping
treasurer's
that would be-
report?
I was hoping that it would be in the, unless I missed it, it's not in there.
I have to talk to him anyway,
And I
so
would
I'll
like to
ask
see that
him.
every time we get a report, every month.
Yeah,
Every month it should be good, it should
That's
be,
right.
you're right. I agree.
and you know what, it's probably in here, we're just not finding
It may be
it
hidden in here, but I would like to have it spelled out for us.
Yep.
in big
I agree.
letters.
It doesn't have to be big letters, I just want it so that we know exactly what the reserve is every month. That's important if we want it, if we have something come up that we have to have money for.
Yeah.
We need to know what that reserve is.
Yeah, we know if we got it, if we don't got it.
Right. Like I said, it could be in here, but I just
And you know
don't
what, if
see
it
as
is, but he
such.
should just identify it so that we
That's
don't
what
have
I'm
to look
saying.
for it.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying, and we should be able to see that right away. Like on this front page where the rest of the stuff
Yep,
Yep. Yep.
that's a good one, Alice. I mean, Roberta,
is. I don't really see it.
I don't either.
No.
I'll ask him if it's in here, and if it is, he needs to spell it out on the front page.
Right, so that we know what's going on.
Thanks.
Right. That's a good one. Any other ones?
That was the one that stood out for me because I was looking for that right away. I mean, it's nice to have all these figures, but if we have something come up, we need to know if
We
we
don't
can
know
pay
what
for
to,
it.
yeah.
I just look at the over and the unders, like going from month
Right,
to month,
well, I look at that too.
I mean, some months were, but I
I
mean,
look at the whole thing.
Well, if you do it
Those
month to month,
things.
we'll be able to see what that
Right,
is there or
reserve.
what isn't.
That's right.
and this should pretty much stay the same, because I work within the bank account, like, we're not going into any of the savings or any of the investments, we're not
That's good.
tapping into any of that stuff. We're going by what we collect for rents,
Yeah.
what we have for grant money,
Yeah.
pays for the big projects. And then you figure the rents and the subsidy that we get is paying for all our bills.
Yeah. And there was something else that had to do with finances too. And investments. That's an awful lot to digest. I don't know whether they could boil it down a little bit more so we know whether we should be investing more or not.
Okay. Well, we're gonna end up doing a budget revision in October. We're gonna look at the
Yeah.
budget so that
Okay.
we're on track,
But that's what I want
In
for next
October.
year's budget so that we can know whether we're going to.
But we're
Just
gonna-
have it monthly.
so we're gonna have to submit that, a budget revision So we'll do that at the October meeting. He might come. I'll ask
That would
him
be good.
if he can come in October.
I mean, the information is there, but it's okay if you're an accountant, but if you're not, it really,
And it takes time
Takes
to look
time,
at it.
yes.
And if, like, I'm looking at it and it's like, oh, I ask him, you know, am I going to jail?
You don't smoke, do you?
No, I probably should.
That's good, at least we
No,
don't
you
have to waste
shouldn't.
money for cigarettes.
that's right.
And it's like, you know, how are we doing? He says, yeah, we're doing good. I mean, you know,
From what I can see, we are too, but I just want to make sure.
right.
Right, no, it's good, it's a good thing to know.
Right.
That's your job.
Board members should know.
Yes.
That's your job.
Yeah.
It is.
As the board.
Exactly.
Yes, it
That's what
is.
you're supposed to be asking. Are we investing enough? Okay.
And often enough, because with these short investments, sometimes you can invest a little more because then they run out in so many days. So
Like the CDs?
Yeah, well, yes, but some of them are short and some of them are long. So we need to know how much we need to have in reserve in order to be able to do that. That's another reason I want the reserves.
All right, you know what? We'll ask Gary to come at the next meeting, and we'll plan the meeting date around him as to when he can come,
Okay.
all right? And that way, we can talk to him, because we're gonna have to do a budget revision anyway.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that we stay on track, so when they come out in the spring, they won't be like, well, you know, you didn't project the budget right. Well, how the heck do we know?
That's right.
You know, we don't even know what our monthly utility bills are gonna be, you know?
That's right.
It's like on a wing and a prayer. You don't know. I mean, Auburn water
Depends on how cold it is.
is hard, and we have problems with the plumbing up at Packagug. Of course, Packagug is old now, so we actually have pipes bursting in the wall.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Of
Oh
course
yeah,
it
the
is.
pipes are rotting right out,
Oh, my goodness.
and that's a big expense. But how do you
Yes, it
plan
is.
for that?
You
The
can't plan for
same
it.
thing with the water
You just have
heaters.
to
All
watch
our
it.
systems are affected by Auburn water.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
because it's so high, they couldn't understand why we go through so many water heaters and furnaces. Well, what do you think?
Right.
The water in Auburn is well documented that it's very high
Yep, that's high.
in minerals. So we have a tendency to go through systems probably more so than a place that
other
has
places,
soft
yeah.
water,
Right.
you know? And they have to take that into account. But that's why the budget revision is a good idea, because that shows that we're on the ball.
Yeah, we're on top of it, yeah.
That's a good thing for
And
us.
is there, you know, the other question with that is, we don't have any water softeners, do we?
No.
No. Maybe we
Would
should
that be
look
a
at-
good thing?
Maybe we should look into that to see if some of these minerals can be filtered out.
And you know what too, a lot of our systems are older. So they used a certain kind of gallon tank, like that ASME gallon
Mhm.
tank, to store the water,
Yep.
hot water. But maybe we don't need that kind of tank anymore. Maybe we can
something
get a
else.
smaller, like a more functional, reliable,
Yeah.
Right,
efficient tank.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we can ask about the water softener too. But when it comes time to do our capital planning, these are all the things
Items should be put in.
That we need.
that we need to take into account.
Address, yeah.
Because you figure we spent $170,000 doing the roofs at Stoneville.
Oh.
And I didn't get any complaints about the roofs. They did
Nope.
a great job. They were all these roofs were done in a week.
Yep,
Actually, less than a week.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So, but it was $170 just for that. Then there's a change order because
yes.
the trim boards, remember the woodpeckers?
Right.
Yes,
And we had woodpecker hulls, and I had balloons out there trying to drive the woodpeckers away.
Right.
But the reason that we had woodpeckers was because we had
Wood.
termites.
Yeah, wood.
and the termites went after.
The termites were
The
eating the wood,
woodpeckers
and
were
then the
eating the
woodpeckers were
termites.
eating the termites. And we had a big problem. So I had to pay to get rid of the termites,
Right,
and we still have trouble in one building
with the termites?
with termites. But the rest of it seems to be pretty clear. But when they did the roofs, they were like, look at the boards, they look like crap. They had holes, woodpecker holes.
Right.
all over the
I
boards.
remember when we went through that.
So, I mean, the guys, when we got inspected, they put like reflective, like metal over all the holes, because if you can't see the hole isn't really there.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Oh, really?
Yeah, the hole was there. So when it came time for them, they were on the ladders doing the roofs anyway. So it made sense to have them replace the boards. That's why you did the change order,
Right.
Right.
was to pay for the boards and the labor, okay? But they were already out there, and they just took all the trash away, put PVC, is that what it,
Yeah,
PVC?
PVC, yeah.
Planking, it's like plastic wood.
Right.
Yeah,
We haven't had a woodpecker problem since. So between the termites and that fancy wood trim,
they're gone.
we're good to go.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Pheasant Court, when they went down there to do the roofs down there, the gutters were shot. So as of right now, until you guys voted to put the gutters, now we can get the gutters and have them put back and clean that up, because that controls the water.
Right.
Pitches the water away from the building so that we don't have rot. Okay?
Yeah,
But I mean, everything is like big money. It's $4,600 just for gutters installed. You know, 170 for the roofs. It's going to be like 110. As of right now, we're having the windows replaced on it. The 12 units at Pinebrook Court.
Good.
They're doing the windows, and that was over $110,000.
Sure it was.
That's big money. But
Well, Wayne and I have to keep up our houses, and it's expensive every
well,
year.
and that's the
year.
thing.
Oh,
You know.
Spent a lot of money again.
So we're doing it, but I'm trying to make it so that every development gets something. Like Packagug had the sidewalk replacement. The back of PV, I'm gonna try to replace their sidewalks this fall, but I gotta see how much money we
What
end
we
up
got, yeah,
spending
yeah.
And how much
between,
we have in reserve.
Yeah.
but these would be grants. These would be covered by the grants. If the money's not in the grants, it's not coming out of our operating budget.
Yeah,
But we'll get this squared away at our next meeting.
good.
And if Gary can't come, I'll get the answers from
All
him,
right.
and I'll try
Appreciate that.
to explain it, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I think all in all,
We're good.
we're not sinking.
No, and you
No.
know, I am so happy with all the replacements and all the upkeep that we've been doing, because if you don't keep it up, it falls apart quickly.
Yeah.
So you really have to keep everything right up to snuff all the time.
And as I look at other housing authorities.
That's what I'm talking
yeah.
about,
Oh, yes.
because I look around when I'm traveling around.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
Any member items? There being none,
None.
public comment, there is none. Adjournment? We don't know when we're gonna have our next meeting right as of now, because Laurie's gonna talk to the accountant and see when he has an open date for us to do so.
And
Okay.
hopefully it'll be the first Tuesday of October.
Yeah,
I'll float it out there,
That's
and
good.
hopefully that'll be when
If
it'll,
you can do that, that would be great. 'cause
that would be helpful.
I have all this stuff going.
Even if we could
Postmates.
change the time, you know, if we have to change the time to accommodate him earlier, you know,
Yeah.
You
but
mean to have a breakfast meeting?
we
Yeah.
could, Alice, I mean, hey. You know,
Good.
you could drop off some bread,
yeah, there you go.
get the toaster out.
There you
So I guess
go. Okay.
I'll call him tomorrow and I'll find out what
If
his
he can
plans
or
are.
when he
Yeah,
can.
yeah, and then we'll let you know.
Good,
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second?
Third?
Fourth? All in favor?
Aye.
Never knew these Joyce.
Opposed? None.
Thank you.
Now, did you get your check?
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, yeah.